What is it that you looking into brands or creative people or designers, and what is the reason why you invite them? I mean, is it something specific you're looking that they have, or what is it every season for you?
I'm a very curious person, and when I meet other people with a great curiosity and passion and talent, I think we have an obligation when you are working in an industry like the fashion, that you actually do try to invest not only money but also time, resources, introducing young talents to maybe a more established network. So for me it's extremely important that you can be very small and just have started your business, but as long as we feel there's a true energy and passion behind what is going on in that brand, we like to invite them over.
What you would find most challenging about introducing a young designer? Because I know the challenges from my side, you know, as a store basically. When I have my one-to-one meetings with the cool graduate that is coming out from St. Martin's or Royal College of Arts, and I will meet with them, and I love what they do with the graduate collection, but I also know that they produce everything in a very safe environment, which is the university. And then when they are out from that, they have to, it's brutal for them. Too many costs involved. It's very difficult in terms of production. It's very difficult in terms of distribution, connection, stores, and so many issues that they can go wrong actually, especially in the first 2, 3, 4 seasons that they're like the most important ones. Do you see that happening with you, or do you think about those things when you choose a designer, you know, to showcase at CIFF?
Definitely. We don't really guide on the creative
side.
Designing the collection. That's probably more your role. But we do try to identify the shops that has an open mind to XYZ brands. And we also actually go a step further in introducing them to some of our other clients, the showrooms, and see if they can get under their wings. And then actually it's quite funny because we only have 2 times 3 days a year, but we're super busy all year round.
Of course.
And then many of the connections and collaborations have actually been established in between the shows. So you might see a brand during CIFF, and then later on we'll try to catch up with this brand and eventually a showroom or a store. So we go way beyond what a normal trade show would do, and I think that's the future.
It's very important.
And my team is not allowed to talk about square meters and prices. First of all, we have to discuss whether we believe in this brand, and if this brand has a vision, and then you can talk money later on.
Whoever has visited Machine, the retail space, could see that in a rail we mix all the brands basically.
I love that.
You know, so we never dedicated spaces specifically for a young designer, graduate, or a high-end brand. You know, like in one rail you can see from a graduate to a very big high-end brand. And in our world, you know that this could become very challenging for some brands. You know, because there is this type of old-fashioned way of we need our space, we need to look in a very specific way. And it was never the deal with Machine, you know, and I think that when they came and they saw that type of presentation, they got very, very excited about it. They saw that, this is a completely new way of showing our collections, is to mix and match with this type of young energy.
It forces you to spend more time going through all the styles, so you don't have this idea that, okay, this brand is like this and this brand is like that. When you experience your rack, you have to dig into it. You have to actually look and understand what you're seeing. And it's not just one brand, it's 10, 15 different labels.
So you could call it curation pretty much. You know, in some way you curate your space with selecting the right brands, the right people that they would come and work with CIFF. What do you think that the next 6 years of CIFF would look like? Do you know, or I'm sure you know some parts that you don't need like to discuss right now. But my question is more in a sense where you achieved your, let's say if you had a 5-year plan, you achieved your first 5-year plan, which was to mix these young emerging designers with the more established brands and create that type of community, where you can see a floating of interesting ideas, concepts, and fashion, basically. So what would be the next 5 years? Do you think that you could take this somewhere else, or is it always should be related with Copenhagen?
No, actually, my 5-year plan was, let's do something for 5 years and then retire. But for the next 5 years, I'm very excited because, first of all, we are actually ready to go abroad with the concept and establish ourselves in other European or overseas destinations. And not as a Scandinavian show, but with probably some Scandinavian values.
Of course.
But a mix of international and Scandinavian brands. And also bring in a small food part. In Copenhagen, there are a lot of things going on, and as we are introducing our very own city around our venue called Upcoming Copenhagen, we want brands to interact with our city development for 3 weeks, 3 months, instead of being in Copenhagen just for 3 days. It would be a great opportunity also for our art show to interact with fashion and vice versa, and get maybe a location like a pop-up showroom for 2-6 months, and then actually engage also with Copenhageners on a longer term. So it's becoming more and more a public affair than just a business-to-business platform. So I think with that in mind, an entire city development for 8,000-10,000 people, and a lot of new places like hotels and restaurants and coffee shops and retail, interacting and giving these brands an opportunity to stay for a longer time, and a vision for establishing our show outside Denmark. The next 5 years will be pretty busy.
What was it that you thought that I could bring something new to the table?
The main key thing for me is really that you have stayed hungry. You're curious. You want more, and it wouldn't fit if somebody super popular or who did an amazing job. If you became too self-absorbed, and I think what is one of your great skills is that since we met, you've been very enthusiastic and hungry for more. And I think that's a key element for me to be able to work with somebody that close on something that's actually quite personal for me, because it is I'm handing over a part of the personal curation to somebody else. But so it's of course trust, that's evident, but it's really the curiosity that, and of course a professional eye and all that is going on. But again, that's things that you have to possess in order to do what you do in your company. So for the interaction, it's really having I think a positive and open mind.
So we start talking about fashion and art, which was something very, very important, and it is very important to CIFF Copenhagen and also to you as well. My first thought was, well, I would like to create something that is sort of like an experience, a personalized experience, and it should be in a form of a bit smaller. It could be rooms or installations, that people would walk through, and every time they would experience something different. And for every single space, we will. I would like to call in people that I admire, people that I respect a lot, people that I have worked with in the past and currently I'm working with, and showcase fashion perhaps in an interesting way that has to do quite a lot with curation, quite a lot with an unexpected element which would perhaps surprise people.
I think we are onto a very exciting time future, and hopefully all our guests and brands will enjoy as much as you and I do right now.
True.
In the process.
Yes, correct. And I would like to thank you very much for inviting Machine A and me personally, to curate the space, and of course SHOWstudio that is going to produce the creative content, and we're going to create quite a lot of extremely interesting features for the next edition in January 2018. Thank you very much, Kristian.
Thank you, Stavros.